What? It's true.
You said you jerk.
Okay, should I do the clap?
I don't know.
Okay, so I should. You want me to start recording now?
Yeah, sure. Do it. You're recording. Yay. Okay, here we go. Welcome back to Uberview, everybody. This is episode 22. Mr. Kidney and I are here, Wild Tree and the Big JB, back together again this week, and we are sadly without Brandon. He's sick.
Yep.
Horking and snorking and coughing and making it unpleasant for everybody.
Yep. Kind of like that time I got the scabies.
The scabes.
Yeah,
Sector
it was
001.
It is scabes everywhere. You don't want the scabes, let me tell you, and it starts to grow out from the in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's bad for everybody.
It's a true story.
Yep, that's just not good for anybody. Well, so yes, Dave and I are going to be holding it down tonight, and this is a bad week for Brandon to be gone because there's a lot of stuff that happened in the announcements world this week. Big week. So we're going to include a link to the full patch notes. It's kind of a cool announcement. They're live. You can go find them really easy. And there's also a dev update from Jeff. See, I love doing this show on Wednesday. And the reason why is because all the good news and stuff hits on Tuesdays. So we have all of our material.
That's true. That's really true.
Yeah, so it's a good thing. But before we dive into that, how are you, Dave?
Man, I am doing great. I'll do what Brandon does. Gosh, Josh, I'm just really excited to be here tonight. Another awesome Wild Tree impression.
Man, I am just fine.
That's it. That's what it is. Man, I am so excited to be here tonight. Let's do some barbecuing as well.
I am, yeah. Barbecue a big roast. You know what? That enthusiasm keeps me going every week.
It's true. It's true. I don't know how we're gonna make it. Right?
I love this. I love doing this. Actually, I tell everybody. Everybody at work knows. Oh, it's Wednesday. It's show night. And I'm like, yes. Freaking right at show night. Oh, I'm doing pretty good myself. I don't hate Capture the Flag anymore.
No, you better not.
Which was kind of a big deal, right? And we'll talk more about that for sure. But Jazz in our chat room, SSR Jazz Jeff, he's making the 3D coins, the tokens for people for our winners. He and I have played a couple games together, and man, playing it with friends makes a huge difference. And having some kind of strategy makes a huge difference. Go figure, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's something I'd like to talk about, right? I thought I wanted to talk about it last week. You just didn't get to it. But if you literally have somebody that says, hey, shoot the mercy.
Right.
And people are listening, they'll shoot the mercy. They really will. If you lead, they will follow.
Right.
These things happen in Overwatch.
This is true. Where we got screwed, you and I, the other night playing Capture the Flag, is I'm like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go, this person tank, I'm going to go May, this person's going to do this thing, and here's where we're going to go. And then the tank was like following me. I'm like, hey, I'm the healer. I'm the squishy one. You get in front. We're going to go this direction and go take the flag. But yeah, I actually really enjoy Capture the Flag now. I have completely switched on it. It's still incredibly frustrated, but I feel that way about many of the arcade modes. Dave's just nodding his head.
I'm in agreement. I mean, I never had, my frustration with all of the periphery of Overwatch is probably because I just don't play it that much. I'm not a loot box guy. I like them. It's not like I don't click on them. And if you gave me a free loot box, I'd be like, I'm gonna touch it and open it, right?
Gotta touch the box.
Yeah, but I know a lot of people go into arcade because they just really want to get that streak of goodness, all the goodies. Right?
I want all the goodies.
And it's not that arcade is bad. It's just not. It's just that my draw to Overwatch is that video game high that I get in
competitive.
And, I've actually played a lot of quick play of recent, kind of taking a page from Brandon's book and saying, hey, if you warm up a little bit, you're going to be in a better spot when you go into comp. totally true, right? Good pro
Interesting.
tip there.
Yep.
I mean, warming up for anything is good, and I just don't process that with video games.
Make sure to stretch.
Yeah, exactly. It's totally like that though. Like, why would I run a 5K? Just get out off my computer chair and run a 5K. It's not going to happen.
Sure.
Got to practice. Or
Well, not not in a reasonable amount of time.
That's right. You know what I'm saying now.
I totally
right?
hear you. Yeah.
Exercises. Do my daily exercises, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't even double finger that though. I just knew.
That's just for a treat for the people who are watching on camera. Those of you who are listening via audio.
Right. Yeah, we're exercising with our fingers.
Exercising with fingers.
Yeah, it's a classic. Ooh, you do that pretty good, dude.
Oh, thank you.
Nice.
Oh, so it's interesting because I ran into this cycle. We've talked about the roller coaster, right? The roller coaster of suck, where you have times where you're really, really good, and then it seems like you go into a dip where it's not that great, and then you come back and everything's really good, and then it's sort of this performance roller coaster. And it used to happen to me in TF2 a lot. Or not, I can't say a lot. It happened, right? Just like we're experiencing with Overwatch. And sometimes I'd take a break and I'd come back and I'd jump into the game, and right off the bat was awesome. And the longer I played, the worse I got in that day. So sometimes I think warming up is great. Sometimes it's just jump right in there.
Yeah. Now, every time I played racquetball, right? Opener, we'd hit the ball around quite a bit, just get the muscles going. And
I love racquetball.
Good game.
It's a good game.
And actually, Overwatch shares a lot of racquetballiness in it.
Indeed. It is good times. So let's go for the little news first, because there are some neat little tidbits from the PTR patch notes, but there's some really big stuff that we're going to want to talk about, and I want to draw this out as much as possible so that people have to wait for us to get to our big things that are our major opinions. What do you think?
Oh, sure. Hey, let's just go through it, man.
Okay, so Bastion changes. We discussed last week what the changes are. They are now on the PTR, so that should be fun. Essentially, what they wanted to do is make Bastion's recon mode, that's the one where he is running around, they wanted to make that more viable. So it wasn't like, I got to find a spot, turn into sentry. They want to make it so that you could actually run around and hurt people. So they're reducing his spread of fire, increasing his clip size, making it so he can heal on the run. So there's some great things that are going on there. So that's all in the patch notes. You said that in comp that I totally ruined for you tonight by calling you for the show.
Yeah, I got a Skype call at the very key moment, and quite literally, I had transformed. I literally, like, it's slow-mo, aimed my gun. I had aimed it at 3 people, and I was starting to, whittle the line down, right? And I get this. Oh, and I got flashed on my desktop. And the problem was that I actually did get killed, came back in time just to see the gameplay, right? To see them shoot me and look at me. I'm doing nothing. I'm just the boob on the shoulder, right? So
shoulder boob.
The shoulder boob. You know what I mean?
Yep.
There's the old shoulder boob. He's useless.
Was the game? I mean, was it you guys lost?
Oh yeah, because I shoulder boobed it.
I think I shoulder boobed it because of calling you.
Yeah.
I should have looked to see if you were in the game before I called, because I knew that you had been in there earlier. But I was like, he's probably out now. It's 15 minutes before showtime.
We started at 8:30, right? So I thought, I got some time. I'll be in there.
That's
ended
true.
Ended up in a shoulder boob situation. That's how useless I was. Useless as a shoulder boob.
That's pretty useless. I don't.
Yes, it is. Oh man, it's annoying as well. But anyway,
that's why they invented shoulder pads in the 80s. Oh, it all makes sense now.
Yeah, that's right. We came from that generation.
Yeah, we've seen the shoulder. If you're not from the 80s and you haven't seen the amazing shoulder pads from the 80s, just go look them up, because.
Oh, look at anybody's wedding photos.
Oh my gosh,
piece of cake.
And ladies in particular that had the shoulder pads.
Oh, I had some pads.
What's that?
I had some pads.
Yeah, I did too, but you don't see it in the lady stuff anymore.
Well, they had the pads so that you could stop the lactate.
Dave, no. Dave,
well, it all makes sense.
Your sticks.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
I know it's a family show.
No, we keep it PG-13. We're still in PG-13 territory. It's all right.
Okay. Well, it's not the thing I want to focus on all
I know
night.
exactly. We keep talking about lactating. We might push it over into the R
That's
category.
right. Yeah, sorry about that.
It's fine.
Anyway, so I got shoulder boobed right there.
Yep,
and
it was all my fault.
And I came back. Literally, it was one of those moments where it was a key OW moment, and and we lost the match.
Well, I'm sorry.
Should have switched to something else. I was like, no, I was Bastion. I was Bastion. And then I wasn't.
If he only had his shields from closed beta or open beta.
Oh, well, no, I mean, now we've got a new Bastion coming, so. Whoop.
Now we do, so it's a good thing. Mercy is also going to be, she's going to be invulnerable when she reses.
Oh, that's nice. I did not know. Good reading, dude.
I'm a reader of things.
That makes sense. I like that. Keep going.
In fact, I think it said that her team is going to be invulnerable for a little bit after they're rezzed. And she's going to be invulnerable through the whole thing because a lot of times, and you know this, anybody who's played Mercy has run into this where you are rezzing your whole team and you're sacrificing yourself to bring your whole team back.
Yep.
And then you're dead. They want to make it so that doesn't happen anymore. So that's a good thing. I don't see any downside to that. What do you agree? What do you think?
Or are we giving opinions now? I thought you said we were going to give big opinions later.
We're going to give big opinions, but these big topics, the big news is later.
Oh, big topics. So
yeah, we'll talk about the little ones now.
Yeah, so I mean, just thinking about that right now, I like it. The issue with it though is that it's already a horrible thing to have happen to you.
Yes.
Right? Hey, I just got a team. No, I didn't get a team kill. Right?
Right. Yes.
Aw, man. Right. And then it comes back, and then immediately you're starting to work on them.
Right.
So to actually have it delayed a little bit longer, I mean, we'll see how it plays out. We'll see how the Gritchen happens. Right?
Yeah.
Me, Mercy. Right? We'll see how it goes. Right?
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the internet.
It's the internet. It's the people who are whiners. Complaining about everything. Their favorite characters getting nerfed and then not nerfed and not buffed and complaining about...
the other issue that always comes up for me is lore.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were having that conversation the other night about the servants in the restaurant in Oasis.
Yeah, why don't we all get shields like them?
Always have shields on. They're like, why don't we always have shields on, right?
Right.
It breaks lore, right? Whatever lore might be.
Right.
I mean, ultimately, they have technology,
mm-hmm.
quite frankly, to make all of these characters into one thingamabob.
Right.
And they would call it Ellen Ripley, right?
Right.
She tapes on a flamethrower. She's got a pulse rifle.
Right.
She's got hand grenades.
She's
got
the walker.
Flares, right? She's a kick-ass woman. All these things, right?
Right.
Way before her time.
Mm-hmm.
And you just call her Ripley, and she just whip and wipe. whip, side boob everybody, right?
Yeah. No, shoulder boob.
I gave up. Oh crap! I went to rated R. Where's your wife? Please get her out of the room.
No, she can't hear anything out here. It's okay. Although Lashadra is watching, so she's.
Oh yeah, but she's a part of our team.
That's true.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of notes, and I wanted to get Brandon's opinion on this, and maybe if the PTR stuff hasn't released by next week, we'll get him to weigh in on this. But what I noticed in a lot of the patch notes, there's a whole bunch of things where there are going to be options for changing the targeting sensitivity for different hero abilities, and it sounds pretty straightforward to me. I mean, I assume that what that means is when you get in range, it'll detect. It'll have like a bigger field of when you can detect that, you turn on your Mercy Beam or whatever.
And this is pertaining to the PC edition?
Yes.
You're clear on that? Because it would make sense for the console edition.
Right. So and I don't know, like I said, I don't know how that's going to work. All they have is a note that says they're going to make it possible for you to adjust the targeting sensitivity. Bye. Dave just got up and walked away from the screen.
I got to open up my window. It gets hot in this room.
Yeah, well, if you quit cutting the cheese.
Yes, it's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes. It's getting too hot. I want to take my photo. All right.
And Jeff mentions this. Jazz says in the chat room that the PTR is too buggy right now. So I agree that you shouldn't expect things to be live for a while. But I do want to, I'm interested, I'm very curious to know about this whole targeting sensitivity, what it does to Zenyatta, and how quickly you can throw your orb on people. That's what I wanted to ask. Brandon, hey, he's here. Hey, guys. So, Brandon, if you can, while we continue on, I will check the chat room again, but we are curious about what the heck targeting sensitivity means, because in the patch notes for the PTR, they said they're going to change that or give the ability for different heroes to use that. So if you have a minute to unpack that for us, put it in the chat room, and we'll come back to it. So, Dave, remember how we were playing the other night, and somebody got hooked and spun off a cliff?
Yep, I saw it.
And
we
said, no, that's supposed to be fixed, right?
Yes, we saw it.
We saw it happen. We did.
Yeah, it was a tinfoil hat moment. What? Right? And it happened.
It did. In the notes, they said, and I quote, "Fixed a bug that allowed Roadhog to turn freely while pulling a hooked target."
There you go.
So it was supposed to be fixed. It didn't make it. It was still bugged. So we were right. We weren't crazy.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also noticed that Roadhog had lost a few pounds, but today I noticed he'd gained a few more pounds back. So
they fixed his waist.
Thank heavens.
Right.
Jeez.
His feet are too small in this patch. They'll make him bigger in the next one.
Correct, sir.
Yeah. So you know how you're mentioning that the lore stuff kind of breaks things sometimes in the levels?
Oh, sure.
So we all know that, right? There's some lore stuff it's just broken. Like you're gonna play with Reaper and Soldier 76 on the same team. You know, that's just
right. No, we've talked about that.
Yeah, that's broken. But there are things that they do in the maps that are hints at lore, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they've done this since closed beta, where they, you know, like Junkrat and Roadhog were in the newspaper in Kings Row. I mean, there's all kinds of things that they do. Well, I'll put a link to this, but somebody looked at the 3D modeling for an upcoming change, and Doomfist Gauntlet, the container for Doomfist Gauntlet on Numbani, is shattered.
And the internet went, what?
Exactly. Everybody's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So clearly hints at Doofid. He's
clearly hints at the Doofus.
Doofus. Brandon says that he thinks it's probably targeting stuff like Ana Ult or Mercy Beam. Yes, that's true. I'm just not sure. What I was clarifying was, what exactly does that targeting sensitivity mean? Does it mean that your reticle, you know, when you move over something, it's going to be a bigger field where it triggers, or whatever? So, and then the other thing that I had to note was, I hear that you're going to be coming back to Heroes of the Storm.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
Yes, of course.
Why is that, Dave? Please tell us.
Oh, because my favorite man is going there.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm going to keep playing Heroes. That's why Dave's coming. I'm his favorite
man.
Very
very excited about my old Lucio getting into the Heroes, because, I mean, they've got me. Blizzard has had me since what? How old am I now? I don't know. 32?
Yeah, right. You're 32.
It's like,
you're 32 and I'm 25.
Showed up in Warcraft 2, bam, I'd be there.
Absolutely. They already said that Lucio's coming out. They did one of those upcoming, here's what's upcoming in the Nexus videos. I don't know if you watched that, but they showed Lucio's skins and abilities in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll have a link to that in the show notes too. But
it's a little bit weird, a little off-putting, right? Because I'm not exactly sure what he's going to be railing on.
That's the part that I'm not sure about, because they talk about how he can wall slide. I'm like, how is that going to work?
He's skating in Pine Forest.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the beauty of Heroes, right?
Yes. Oh, I'm on a pine tree, pine cone. Gandalf's up there throwing off burning pine cones.
And
why
the
not
wargs
Lucio,
are chasing
right?
him. Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? And so he's going to get, one of his skins is going to be the hippity hop skin that he has, which is awesome. I am curious to know how they're going to do the whole wall slide thing. I
know it looked a little bit janky in the videos I saw. I saw him literally like jump on a pine tree. I'm like, oh, he's on a pine tree. How long can you be in a pine tree? I guess you could circle it. Oh, you know what?
There you go.
That goes right to our maypole theory.
Our maypole. There you go. That's
Yeah,
what
there
the
you go.
that's the spring.
I just had it.
You did it. You did it. It's the spring holiday right there.
It. Connection. Woo.
It looks like all his abilities are pretty much the same except for one of his alts.
I think he gets a little bit of poom 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 pom pom pom.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Oh, he gets a little juice, little papa.
Oh, juice.
Right. I think one of his alts is not just strictly, that's it.
Like living next to a gun range.
It's gonna energize a little pop, pop, pop. That'd be fun.
Gotcha.
I guarantee you, no matter what, I'm there. Actually, and here is the best part. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
I've got a free hero token just awaiting.
How'd you get that?
Hero. I got it like a year ago because heroes haven't been playing for a while, so that I get this little thing. It says, "Hey, if you push this, you can get a free hero." So I just keep that little package up there, and now it blazes even brighter.
Oh man!
I know what's coming for it.
Yep. Well, and it's really funny because I, like most things, I'm a collector, and I have most of the heroes from Heroes of the Storm.
Wow.
And I haven't necessarily spent gold on all of them, so Blizzard is deep in my wallet, and there's no doubt about it. So.
Since you were 32.
Yeah. Brandon says you can play Lucio on the PTR. For heroes.
Of that I have no doubt, but I'll wait till he's real.
All right. He says the wall
ride is
really
say?
Intuitive.
Sorry.
No, he said you can play him on PTR and the wall ride is really intuitive. That's what he said.
Okay. On a pine tree.
On a pine tree. Yep. On a pine tree. And, Creed said, this is in the chat room, and I agree with him, actually. He says that what he's finding interesting is when they introduce the Overwatch characters into heroes is when they have the alternate ultimates. So Zarya's got the one that is just like, in game, it pulls everybody into it, but she has another one that pushes people away. Tracer's got 3 different variations of her pulse bomb. So they're going to do something like that with Lucio for sure. The funny thing is, when they announced it, I kid you not, I had just been talking with somebody about, hey, I think Lucio's coming next. And then they announced it that day. So pretty cool.
It's why we do this show.
Yes.
More than most.
And you know what? That's the truth. And we guarantee that if you listen to this show, you will become immediately
smarter,
more intelligent, and more attractive to the opposite sex. It is our 100% money back guarantee.
Support us on Patreon. Suckers.
If it doesn't happen, we'll refund every bit of money that you've given us so far.
Oh, no.
I said so far. No.
So far.
So, all right.
If that works, hey, people, you're good looking. Give me money. Let's do that show.
Yeah, totally.
Why isn't there a podcast that we just get on there and they're like, "Well, good morning, beautiful. How are you doing on your drive to work? I think you're awesome.
There probably is.
Your game's great. You're a great parent. Oh my gosh, I wish I was you."
Write that down, man. That'll be our side project.
1-800 hashtag Patreon in my pocket.
It's the positive affirmation of the day.
Oh my gosh! In time, give it time. You know what? That's my new podcast.
There you go. I'm making a note right now.
Mark this day. Copyright Awesome Dave podcast show. Come get weed with the wild weed.
What? Get high off our positive
I'm talking
affirmations.
about weed.
Gotcha.
As in the royal wee wild.
Wee wild tree.
Wee wild tree. Like I'm spinning like Lucio on the wall. Wee.
Skating backwards is super fun, by the way.
Oh my word! So can I talk about that now?
Yes, please do. We're going to draw out the big news from the patch notes as much as we can because I want everybody to be like, "Oh my gosh, please talk about this stuff."
I'm playing in Elise.
Lucio. No, Ilios.
Ilios, thank you. Lucio in Elisio.
Yes.
All right, so I'm playing there in the Greek capital of awesome, right? Which I used to hate that map.
Okay.
It is Lighthouse, right? I had enabled backwards jumping 2 days prior.
Okay.
Right? So That is confirmed. I don't know if we've confirmed that on the show. Like we've all talked about it.
Yes, you have to turn it on.
Yes.
Yes.
It changes everything about Lucio. Everything, in my opinion.
That's a dramatic statement.
It is a dramatic statement, but for me, I play him completely different now. Completely
Really?
different. Oh yes. Yeah. And I'll tell you why. This is how you know what? It was like that commercial in the 70s when the chocolate and the peanut butter come together. I enabled the button and it was amazing. So I'm sitting on the point at Lighthouse. I get booted and I'm looking, my back is to the edge, right? So Lighthouse is surrounded by 3 edges.
Mm-hmm.
And Lucio, the other Lucio, has a, me or the other Lucio can bop you off there, or Diva can push you off there, or Farrah can push you off there.
Sure.
I get bopped by Lucio,
Mm-hmm.
and I am flying backwards, and I suddenly realize I'm attached to the wall right now. He bopped me next to the wall, and I was on the wall backwards. I was able to turn it around, and I totally came out of the situation that I was. Because typically,
so you just hit spacebar. You were flying backwards. You hit spacebar.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm right next
skated.
to the wall. I hit spacebar, and I'm going backwards.
Were you falling off the ledge at that point?
He pushed me off the ledge.
So we're not talking about the wall of the structure. We're saying you're saying that he pushed you off the ledge.
Let me be clear. I don't want to blow smoke because I have a tendency to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I did not catch myself going off a straight cliff.
Okay, that's what I was trying to clarify.
If I can describe this the best way I can describe it, unfortunately, folks, you can only hear this. I was on the L shape.
Okay.
And I was on the corner of the L shape, and he pushed me off. And so the wall was to my left.
Mm-hmm.
As I was being pushed down into the crevice of no return. And suddenly I'm like, hey, I can totally skate this wall backwards. And I did. Okay? And I got myself out. I can't imagine that poor sap who's like waiting for that beep, that you just got that kill, right? Wild tree, 100%, right? Right?
Right.
And I'm like, it didn't happen for that guy. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That poor sap. I felt bad for him, but not really.
Not
anyway,
really, yeah. And then there was when we played, LaChartre mentioned the chat room, her arm hurting from that round that we did of This Is Ilios, which was insane.
My word.
Then
yes.
skated out of the well backwards, I think is what you said.
Well, you had gone into the well and you skated forwards. I said, coward. Be like a real man and get out of that hole backwards. Bubba.
I had never skated out of that well before. I have skated and brought myself back on Nepal.
When you're playing Lucio, you get pushed in the Puta Bosh all the time.
Right.
I was in the Putas, and I was like spinning out backwards, baby. But anyway, since the incident at the Lighthouse, I have been skating backwards into wall and going bump, 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 and getting up high as Farrah without thinking about it. Like I get myself now. I had a soldier and a mercy that were coming down on me on Temple of Anubis. And I was at the point, and they're like cornering me. And I'm like, no, you can't corner me, but backwards. I'm shooting them, and I'm going up the wall backwards. Up, bye.
Are you just hitting jump while you're doing
backwards, because I can now attach myself to the wall.
You're not doing you're not wall jumping back and forth.
I am wall jumping backwards.
Right, but are you doing it between 2 walls, or are you just doing it on one wall back?
No. 2 walls. So they cornered me. That's the op word here. They cornered me.
Okay.
And I'm like, I can get out of this, and I just start wiggling my butt up the wall. Right?
Yep. Well, I'm gonna have to watch. I'm gonna come over to your house and I'm gonna watch you play Lucio because I gotta see what you're doing. Because I have a lot of fun with Lucio and I want to experience those same things, but for some reason I can't quite pull everything off that I want to do, which is why I want to watch you and see what you're doing.
He is so sticky. I don't know why they did what they did, but now I can stick like Spider-Man all over the place. And I get myself, I was at the Temple of Anubis, and I'm like, I am cornered again and again, and I kid you not, I'm like crawling up the wall backwards, time and time again. I was doing this all week, and I'm like, I have now an escape plan for any of these situations where they get me trapped.
Right.
And he's bouncy anyway, and because I've got it enabled backwards, I was like, hey, I'm just sticking. This all happened at, the Lighthouse. So it's actually... It is a game changer. You just need to enable it and then get used to it. And the other thing that is to my advantage, to your advantage, is map memorization.
Oh, yeah.
I know where I'm at, And so for the guy who just started playing, when he's bumping into a wall, he's not knowing what he's bumping into. I've played these maps now for 2 years.
Right.
Right. So I'm like, I know what wall I'm up against. I know how to bump myself up to the top and get out. It is awesome.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
I'm enjoying him a lot because it's just really fun, even when you're just skating out to the point to hit a wall. And I got up really high in one of the levels I played tonight.
Oh yeah.
The thing is, I didn't stay there for very long, which was irritating.
Mm.
I tried doing what we saw in that video of Capture the Rooster, where the Lucio goes on the outside. I died so many times.
It takes time in getting used to it, and I'm still not even there yet. I can get myself now out of a lot of problems with wall climbing.
Yeah. I was playing with Tiff and Mr. Blister, and they were like, "What are you doing?" Because I kept dying over and over. We were skirmishing. And so I'm trying on that map to do that outer wall skate. I'm like, I can't do it. I'm not that good yet. So I got to watch you do it because I need to learn. I need to learn how to be better.
Come on over. And actually, what you could do is you can put your hand on my mouse, and I'll put my hand over yours.
Ooh.
And I will guide you in the way. Backwards, baby.
Just make sure that your wife isn't home.
Oh, good, but you had to take it there, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm the one who took it there. Right. All right, should we stop delaying and talk about the big news from the patch?
Yes.
All right.
There's a lot of, it's time. Tell the audience what's happening.
Okay, so here's what we're going to talk about. We're talking about, there's 3 really big things that people seem just really hot to talk about. Server browser, custom games, and Capture the Flag as its own arcade mode. So let's break it down. Server browser. So if you've played TF2 or Counter-Strike or most other first-person shooters, there is a server browser where you can look for people who are hosting the game on their server. Valve does now host their own games on servers, but a lot of times there are, like one of my favorites that I played on was the Seattle Ducks was what it was called. And it was people from Seattle, and they had TF2, they had their map rotation, they had their rule sets and everything else set up. And for a long time... I'm
not sure that Valve had their own homegrown servers for a long time.
It was a long time. Yeah, it was a long time. And so what they're going to do is now, with the server browser, you're going to be able to create your own game and make it public or keep it, private between friends or whatever. And you're going to be able to tweak it with... you can only host custom games. And you're going to be able to tweak those custom games however you want. What Jeff was talking about in the dev update, if you haven't watched it, definitely do. But there are so many options for customizing your games. Did you watch that video, Dave?
I did not watch the video, but I read about what was going down, man.
Oh, it's incredible. So here's one of the things that really got me.
There's only one thing that makes me super excited about it, but we can get to that.
Okay. Yeah, custom games, you're going to be able to get XP by playing custom games.
Well, you just ruined it. You just took it away from me.
Is that the thing?
That was the thing that got me excited.
I'm sorry.
I definitely want to go out and get into some of this.
I expected that you were going to say something about Lucio, honestly.
No. It's not all about Lucio. I wish it was, but that would be the Lucio show, an offshoot, which will be starting next week. Now, I'm just trying to think here. Now, let me get this in my brain. Back in my old Sierra days.
Yep.
When I went to Half-Life school, because I literally went to Half-Life school. Because Half-Life 2 had just come out and blah, blah, blah. No. Half-Life. It was just Half-Life.
It was Half-Life, yeah.
Freaking old. Went to Half-Life school. Now, as I recall, it was you'd make a server box in your house, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's my crap PC, and it just runs the server for Counter-Strike.
Right.
Right? And you'd go over there with a chain every so often and start it up like the old Model T. Grandpa's crappy 386, right?
Feed the squirrel to
CSGO, right? Is that going to be the same thing here? Like, you'll just have your server running? Like, we could do the Uberview room or whatever we want to call it.
I don't even know if you're going to have a separate machine. I mean, it's because you can set up a custom game right now, right? In Overwatch.
Yes. I'm just not sure. Like, will it be persistent? is the question, because a lot of those were
Great question.
persistent, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I can go into this. Like, that's what we would do the same thing because Valve wasn't hosting their own. So some dude had the server box in the
Right.
corner.
Right. And it was
And
running all the time, and you could join it at any time.
anytime, right?
Yep.
And you had your favorites, like
Yep.
your Seattle Ducks. I think we had our, Candy Corn City, something like that.
Right. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. So whether or not it's going to be persistent, I don't know. I'm not sure how that's going to
That
work.
would be cool. I guess we'll find out. But it would be cool to have a persistent OW.
It would be amazing. I'm stunned at the possibilities. I'm quiet.
It's cool. I mean, I think it's also nice that they recognize that I'm sure that people are going to exploit the XP,
Oh yeah,
right?
for sure.
But have we ever determined if there's a cap?
You mean on? I think it's like 1800, like level 1800.
Yeah, I mean, but you still get loot boxes after that. I don't remember if we ever determined that.
No, you don't, because you don't level anymore. So you could get them for your arcade wins, but you don't get them for leveling anymore.
That's interesting. So I guess, if they had their own private server and you just had a bunch of bots going at it, right, just getting you loot boxes all day long.
Sure.
My guess is that private servers are not going to happen if they're doling out XP.
I think you're probably right, and I think that if they do XP, that you will earn less XP, and Creed said this in chat, that they'll have a reduced XP rate.
Sure.
It'll be less.
But that wouldn't matter if it was still a private server. You'd still have JBot 27 and
true. Yeah, that's true.
Spamming that all day long while you're at work.
So yeah, I mean, and so here we go. Here's some of the things that Jeff said that made me really excited. Right? There's so many more options. You're going to be able to customize your game, run speed, cooldown effects, what heroes are allowed, what heroes aren't allowed, turning on special abilities, leaving special abilities off. I mean, it even goes beyond. It even goes beyond just what is in custom games right now, down to the level where you'll be able to customize things for a specific hero, not just all heroes. So if you don't want Tracer to be able to blink, you can say Tracer can't blink in this game. One of the things that you can turn all their powers on or off. So one of the things he mentioned in the video was changing the cooldown speeds. They did a Widowmaker match where there's no grapple cooldown, or as low as you could possibly make it, and just Spider-Man across.
Oh wow! Okay,
Yeah.
There you go.
Here's one I think that you will like. You can also set things on a per team basis, so you can say this other team can only have these heroes, this team can have this hero. So here's what I think you'll like. His example was you take one team gets one hero, is like a single player, so it's like a Roadhog.
Yeah.
You give him triple or quadruple the health pool.
Yep.
And then the other team gets 6 players, and it's like boss mode.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. Totally. I'd be all over that. The other thing that I like is now I can make my lore server Talon versus Overwatch.
There you
right?
go.
Like,
yeah.
Because I've always wanted to see if the Talon characters play better together, and if the Overwatch players play better together. Like, it's always mixed up, so you never quite are sure if, say, Talon really works a lot better together.
Right.
Because they're just constructed to be played together.
Yeah, exactly. And
but I'll say this too. What this eliminates for Blizzard is any of these knuckleheads that come back and say, I want World of Warcraft the way it was 15 years ago. You can now play Overwatch the way it was always intended to play. Right?
Right, exactly.
It's all up to you, Bubs.
Oh,
and we're going to give you the power to do so.
The creativity that they're going to allow people to use is insane. I mean, all the different customizable options that he talks about in that video, and just imagine things where like you can do it. So the other thing we mentioned is Capture the Flag as a regular arcade mode. You're going to be able to set that up in a custom game as well. So we could create a custom game that matches what we had talked about on the show a couple weeks ago, which was everybody's Tracer or everybody's Soldier 76. Turn off cooldowns entirely. It's you can adjust the pickup rate. Jeff mentioned this in the chat room just now. So you'll be able to make it so that the flag picks up immediately. So there's no wait time there. The flag, you can make it so that the flag will drop upon any ability that is a mobility ability. So if I've picked up the flag and I'm Diva and I hit shift to blast off, it'll drop my flag. You can set it to do all the things that we're talking about. And he also said is that they're going to pay attention to what people are doing on public servers to see how they might be able to make their stuff better.
Yeah, it's classic Blizzard.
Yeah,
Great.
it's awesome. I love that whole concept of doing that. It's the level of customizing is insane.
Yep, it's a win-win in every way. The only issue that you might face is that you're not although you could practice comp, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, practicing for comp. Here's our teams. There's lots of questions I have because like in the olden days too, if I could go to that particular server, like if 12 of us wanted to play, does it just fill up with teams? Like you can all I specifically want to play against these people?
Yeah, I mean, you mean when you say these people, do you mean specific heroes?
No. Like I want to play against you. Let's say it's a 1v1 server.
Sure.
And I can spawn you in and suddenly it's JB against the wild tree.
Right. Yes, we could do that. You can do it now in a custom game.
Okay. I just haven't done too much custom.
Yeah, no, you can do it now. So you can invite somebody and then you can set it up so it's just 1v1.
Nice.
Yeah, so you'll be able to often? I thought about it many times where we're like, I wonder how this works or if you can do this or whatever. And I think Brandon and I have talked about, why don't we just do a custom game and go experiment and see what happens?
We should do that this week, dude.
Yeah.
We should more about that since we are aficionados over Overwatch.
Yeah, I agree. We should do a custom game and we'll dink around and we can talk about it, answer all the questions that would be.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yep, it would be a private game. So that's with what am I trying to say? With what they're going to do with this change is the things that you can do right now in a private game, in the custom games, they're going to just blow it up with all the different options and then make it possible to play for anybody who just does a search. And that's where the server browser comes in. So
cool.
Oh yeah, that would be so good. I've actually really enjoyed. So this week, it's been hard to find people who are interested in doing more of the Capture the Flag because, Kaplan said that he was surprised. He said that Capture the Rooster was a very popular game mode, which was really surprising to me because we on the show mentioned how we didn't really enjoy it that much, and everybody that I heard from on my friends list felt like it was poorly implemented. And yet he said that it's one of the most popular arcade modes that they've ever done, which really surprised me. I mean, they have the numbers. I don't. They have the data, and I don't. But I was really surprised to hear him say that. And I haven't. So a lot of my friends didn't want to play it. So what I've played with a lot more is I've done the All Brawls playlist that's in the arcade. And there are some modes in there that I never played when you could choose them, when they kind of did their own weekly rotation.
Yep.
That are really, really fun. Like when we played This Is Ilios. That was so stinking fun. I mean, that match lasted forever, but it was a blast. So if they take some of the ideas that people come up with on these public servers and turn them into more official arcade modes, it's going to be great.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. I'm serious. It's a win-win every way.
Yep.
They know it. We know it. I mean,
they know what they're doing.
Usually, but sometimes Blizzard doesn't like to let go of some of this stuff.
True.
Right?
True.
We've
like
seen
they don't
some
have
of
the private WoW servers.
Sure. Or Diablo.
Right.
Right. Where you could before, I think in Diablo. No, I don't think any. In Diablo 1, could you?
Do what? Host your own server?
Yeah.
You could you could do a LAN game. Yeah.
Yeah.
In Diablo 2, that's not exactly the same thing.
That's right. They took away LAN and everybody got pissed off about it.
Right. I want to do a LAN game.
Yep.
Oh, the LAN. You remember that? Playing LAN games of Descent and Descent 2 and Diablo.
Yep.
Did you guys do that when you were at Sierra?
We played a lot of Half-Life.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah.
So, and we were there at the dawn of CS.
Mm-hmm.
So we played a ton of Counter-Strike.
Yeah. I was there. I left just before those things came out and blew up.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked Half-Life, but I only ever played it single player.
Yeah, no, it's a great game all the way around.
Yeah,
we'll
totally.
see.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
So where are we at?
9 new maps for the Capture the
Yep.
Flag. They're going to do 9 new maps. So beyond the stuff that they have already established for Lijiang Tower, they're going to do 9 other new maps.
For Capture the Flag.
For Capture the Flag, yes.
Yep.
So I think he mentioned...
So they're repurposing. When you say 9 new maps, he was pretty clear that he was repurposing
Yes.
new maps for Capture the Flag.
Right. They are new to Capture the Flag. They're not new locales. They will be repurposed, just like Lijiang Tower, for Capture the Flag purposes.
Seattle map would be nicer.
Oh, gosh. Can you imagine a flag up on top of the Space Needle?
Oh, wouldn't that be the perfect place for a freaking flag?
Yes, it would be.
Yes.
I mean, it already has a needle shape. The flag would fit.
Here's the deal.
Right there.
This would be future Seattle when they make Space Needle 2.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you could have 2 Space Needles. The new Space Needle, old Space Needle.
Oh, man. You just blew my mind right there.
Future
my imagination
Seattle
just,
future.
just
I know, you
took
could
off,
totally-
and I'm like,
Oh, totally go crazy. Because
Whoa.
here's how it would work, too. You could... each one of them is a tower, and you go up and down the 2 different Space Needles to get to the top. So you're fighting in, like, the recent Daredevil. You seen the recent Daredevil show where he's fighting down the stairways?
yes,
You could totally do that in Overwatch and be extremely exciting.
that would be really cool. That'd be really cool, yeah.
But you could have 2 Space Needles and like... we'll see.
Man.
That's my Seattle map fantasy. It's never going to happen, but...
Well, no, I think that they might do a Seattle map. I still believe that they're going to end up doing a Seattle map. I don't think that Disneyland is ever going to happen, but
yeah, yeah, believe me.
not in the game. I think in real life it could. I hope. I want it to be real. Oh boy, is there anything else that you read in the notes that you wanted to pull out and talk about?
Yeah, I'm assuming we're going to go into Terry Crews next. So,
well, I was wondering about that because there was a mention. There were some things about Terry Crews out there, but nothing that was. I didn't feel like there was anything that was definitive. I mean, we've already called it. We've already said Terry Crews is going to be Doomfist. But unless you've seen something that I haven't, there's no reveal. There's no like official confirmation that I've seen. It was some voice lines that somebody tossed at him and said, "Here, read these as if you were Doomfist." Did you see something else?
so this is the one thing that I thought this was a great nugget. Once again, props to Kotaku. But I was reading in their chat, or what is it? Their forums, right?
Mm-hmm.
Under one of their Terry Crews articles, what do you think Terry Crews is going to make? Some dude basically said, Terry Crews is a slam dunk for Overwatch because he's an incredibly positive, fun human being.
Mm-hmm.
And what he brings to Overwatch is exactly what Overwatch is. So
right.
It's again, chocolate and peanut butter. It's just going to happen.
It's right.
And I thought what this guy is saying is totally true because we look at all those characters and all the actors and the people that play them have a love for it, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So for having making the addition of him totally makes utter sense that Blizzard would say, "Yep, that's our guy."
That's why I want to do voices for Blizzard because I love that stuff.
Yeah, it's fun.
And I'm a great, positive, upbeat person most of the time. Except
True story.
when I have to work.
Yeah, well, yeah, it is what it is. Hey, do you want me to get into some theory? What do I call this? A theory cast part, like things that I would like to see.
Yes, and you had said the other
moment.
night that you had a solution to something.
I did. I want to talk about that. Can we?
Yes, do it.
Okay.
So we've officially talked about all this patch note stuff. If that's all you tuned in for, then go now because we're gonna do some other things.
Because now we're just gonna do some theory crafting.
The
theory craft time. Things that we want. Double space needles, baby.
Double space needles. Double space needles.
Double space needles. Shoulder boobs. We're good to go. Okay, so I know that Kaplan and crew have been struggling with play of the game, and it's still not where it should be.
And he did say that they're still working on the recording, the play of the game, so you can save it locally.
Yeah, I hope they resolve it. They're not going to resolve it the way that I would like them to resolve it.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? But I thought to myself, one of my frustrations with play of the game is, for me personally, watching it the other night, I'm like, I know. Okay, this is where it happened. So one night I was playing Overwatch. We came up to there's a lot that happened on this particular map. Temple of Anubis again, and we approached it, and we got walled. So my team got walled by May,
and
then they Zarya. Okay, Lucio, I got stuck behind it. So it's a smart play in every way.
Right.
Lucio, myself, is stuck behind the wall where the rest of my team is on the other side. I cannot get to them.
Right.
And then they Zarya. I broke it down at that very moment and was able to shield everybody through the whole thing.
Oh, nice.
Play of the freaking game.
That
without a doubt.
Absolutely
right?
Should have been. Yep.
Who gets it? Junkrat. Right?
Of course.
And I was frustrated about it. I was like, this is ridiculous. This should not happen. Right? And I thought, why not make play of the game user's choice?
Does
this make sense? We have 4 categories. We've got tank, we got support, we got DPS, and we got healers. What would it look like if, say, hey, I just love to see the guy who played the best healer, and I just choose that category? So instead of just getting the Junkrat that I constantly get,
right,
I get to see who is playing the best healer of the round. Because everybody gets recorded in some capacity. Everybody does. And for me personally, I'd rather see who got play of the game support, or who got play of the game healer, or who got play of the game DPS. Because all we get right now is the DPS moment, and I'm sick and tired of it. Make it player choice so that I can choose to see what I thought was the best play of the game. If it's Mercy on the other side, great. Right?
So are you saying that the game would determine the play of the game per role, and then you, the player, would be presented with, here were the plays of the game for each role?
Yep, the role that you choose.
Do you think that would take some of the fanfare out of the play of the game? Because a lot of people wait around and they want to see who the play of the game was.
What I want is to be able to customize it for myself. That's what I want. And I want to see who is the ace healer. I want to see in that category who was the best of the best at that time. Because again, I am tired of watching every freaking DPS get their play of the game. Because right now, Josh, it's just strictly DPS. It's DPS moment, right? You might get a Mercy here and there who got 5 players all at once. This is totally open for discussion.
If you get, it's not guaranteed, but if you can res more than 3 people as Mercy, you'll get play of the game. But that is one of those rare moments where, if you're going to get it with Lucio, I can't even remember the last time I saw Lucio play of the game.
I cannot remember a Widowmaker. I haven't seen a Widowmaker in forever.
I saw one not that long ago. I can't remember, and it was
it's like.
Yeah, and they were like, it was like 1, 2, 3, 4. It was a Mystery Heroes game actually, and they headshot it 1, 2, 3, 4, and the guy was like, I don't even know what happened. I never play Widowmaker. It was the one moment that I actually had a good shot.
Right, or Zarya.
Yeah, or Zarya. Yeah, I mean, I've got some great highlight intros, and I love them. I'd love to see them more, but you have to. It's a very specific circumstance in which Zarya is gonna be shown in that.
What sucks is now that they've fixed it, you never see Torb anymore. The goofy plays you don't see any. Right?
Oh, I get on there as Torb all the time.
Sure, but I'm just saying you don't see Torb banging on a wall or something, right? While he's taking down all the players. Somehow they've worked that out, and I kind of miss that.
Yeah,
I miss that goofiness, right? Like what did you just do? But I thought, why not just break it down for me as the player and let me choose to see who was the best of given 4 categories?
Right.
Because if I have to watch the Junkrat again, I'm I don't know if it's the entire solution. I give it to our audience to throw out there. Like, I would love to see what our folks have to say, like what their solution to this particular problem is. Because what a robbery! The train came in, I robbed it, I took everything, and Junkrat got it again. Yep. I stole the game. It was play of the game, no doubt about it. Now, how you program that, the fact that I got in that particular situation in which Lucio's behind the wall.
Right.
I broke it down.
I mean, you were basically a lifesaver for the rest of your team.
Correct.
You should have gotten the lifesaver play of the game. Right.
Yep.
Oh boy. Yeah, I agree with you. It would be interesting to see how that would look. I mean, I'd love it if our audience or Dave, you or Brandon or I, whatever, sort of fleshed out what that would look like to give it so that it doesn't lose that same I don't want to say intensity, but so it doesn't lose that same draw of I got to see who wins the play of the game. I'm so proud that I got shown as the play of the game because you, Dave, hate seeing the Junkrat. But the guy who played the Junkrat loves seeing himself in the play of the game.
And he could choose that category for himself.
But he wants everybody else to know that he was the play of the game.
He wants all the other DPSs to know. And if the other guys are choosing DPS, they'll see their Junkrat. They want that.
Well,
the other healers who are healing want to see healers be healing.
Yeah. Can't stop the healing.
Healing. That's right. Right? Or Symmetras be Symmetrin.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Know there's a company in downtown Bellevue here in Washington called Symmetra?
Oh, it doesn't surprise me.
I have a picture of it. I meant to send it to the Symmetra voice actress.
You should have sent it. Send it to me. You come over here, put your hand on my mouse, man.
Moving on. Okay, so what else is your other solution?
That is my big solution.
That was your big solution. Okay.
And I wanted to throw it out to our audience because I'd love to see if our audience had come up with a better idea than what Kaplan and crew are doing. Because it's one of their big foibles, right?
Right.
It's like, you're falling off the horse, the Humpty Dumpty, whatever, right? So
yeah. Okay. So chat room, speak up if you guys have. What do you think of Dave's idea? And if you're listening to this later, and you have some ideas, tweet at us, send us an email, Uberview.
Yes, please.
Uberviewshow@gmail.com. We'd love to hear what you think of the idea and what could be done. What would the implementation look like? What are the pros and cons?
The thing that's great about podcasts is you don't know who's listening. So
right.
You never know how this stuff is going to be, informative to people that are in the know. So
right, totally. Well, and then if we get some responses or some ideas, of course, we'll talk. I mean, if we get people in the chat room here, we'll talk about it tonight. But if somebody emails us, we'll bring it back up again on the show for sure. And you'll get credit. Totally. Was that the other theory crafting thing you wanted to do? Is that the same thing?
Oh, that's the theory crafting I had, other than, the twin Seattle Towers.
The twin Seattle Towers. Okay, Scott, I thought because you had said you had a solution, but then also
that was my solution. The solution to me is user choice play of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm. That would be interesting.
So because they're making a lot of customizations these days. Why not Potaga?
Potaga, that's right.
Potiki.
It's interesting that you bring that up because I was thinking about. So we've had the commendation cards for a long time in.
Oh,
Overwatch.
What you're getting hung up on was I saved my story about Lucio getting thrown off the wall, and reverse skating. Those are the two things I talked about.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Those are the two things. I had a theory craft and I had a Lucio story.
Lucio moment play of the game, which yeah. I mean, those kind of things, too, like if you're Lucio and you get booped off the edge and you manage to skate your way back out, the team needs to know. I mean, there are some awesome things that happen that wouldn't qualify as a play of the game necessarily, quote unquote, but are still awesome moments. Actually,
I felt conflicted about that because I thought, man, I should just drop because the amount of time I'm dinking around trying to get back up is kind of a waste of time to the team. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much healing I was doing by saving my butt on the wall. It was a weird, I thought about it later and I thought there's a moral dilemma here.
Mm-hmm.
Should I just take the fall or do I keep on spinning up and spend a good, it took me probably about 15 seconds to get out of that situation.
Mm-hmm.
15 seconds that I'm not doing anything.
But if it's 15 seconds, you die, your spawn time and the time that it takes to get back to the point, it's going to probably be 15 seconds.
Yeah, I'm guessing so too. But there are
Right.
a lot of people that will get themselves in, and Brandon could probably attest to this. Sometimes you just need to die so you can get back in the game. Just dinking around. Because if the people are sitting there spinning in the Pudabash, I don't know how much healing they're doing, right?
True. Although I think there was a game that you and I played. I don't remember, but I did see a guy playing Lucio who basically spent most of the game in the well.
You know, he was spinning in the Pudabash, and I'm
Right,
like,
he
I
had
don't know
his
how much
he had
healing
his
he's doing.
healing going, and he would boost it every once in a while, and just kept spinning around inside the well. So I guess as long as his team, stayed close enough in his range,
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah.
Good question.
And Creed asked a good question. He said, "Are those 15 seconds used distracting the other team as well? Like, is somebody off the point trying to
The
take?"
only person that's distracting is the guy who's disappointed that he didn't get the Wild Tree 100.
Well,
right?
hey, you know what? That's
if that's what that's doing, then hey, kudos to old Mr. Wild Tree, right?
exactly right.
Because I know I'd be waiting for it. Hey, I booped that guy, and I got no boop back, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's too bad that it doesn't signal saying, "Hey, I got out of your boop." Because I just wanted to talk to that guy. It's like,
Right.
hey, dude, guess what? You
Guess
didn't
what I
get me, sucker.
But if there was some way of capturing that to show to other players, like it doesn't count as a play of the game because it wasn't necessarily something that was incredible that affected the whole team, but it was an incredible performance as a player, right? So it would be really cool if there was some way of saying, some kind of play of the game thing where it was like, here's what we captured as a really cool moment. Although that's a very human assessment, I don't think they would get AI to be able to do that.
I think the play of the game is a massive issue because it's so much fun, especially, of course, when it's you.
Right.
And all I want, to be honest with you, for me personally, all I want is respect for my other healers.
Yeah, totally.
Screw you, DPS. Right? If you're in the healing channel, you got to see how good this Lucio is, right?
I can see. I can see your point. Absolutely.
No. I don't know. That's where I fell with it.
Yeah. No, I'm totally. Yeah, I see it. I can see it. I would really. Nobody in the chat room has said anything, but I'd really like to see.
Oh, it's because it's a puzzle, dude. This is a thinker.
Yeah.
This is the one where you sit down in the pot and go, "Whoa, what's going on?"
And I'm distracted by typing into the chat room, which is my timing was off just now. I was.
You know what? Your timing already screwed me this evening too. That's the second time your timing is zeroing me, man.
Oh, the Skype call of doom.
Skype call got me overwatched.
Oh man. Well, all right. I think unless there's anything else, I think we're all good, man. I think we've wrapped it up.
Absolutely.
Where can people find you on social media and the other awesome things you do?
Of course, we did an episode of Parenting Mistakes this week.
What was the episode?
We did not post it. It was me being the engineer. Did not post it. It'll be posted next week. We watched Fuller House season 2.
Oh my gosh!
Not the whole thing, but we watched the episode 1. So
did you watch season 1 of that one too?
Did I watch season? I watched part of it just to see what was going on.
Is it as bad as I think it is?
You know what's interesting? Yes, but at the same time, this era of Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
So if the Brady Bunch was on Netflix, per se, it would just be the Brady Bunch on Netflix, and it'd be over in 30 minutes, right? Well, now because that thing is so serialized, at the end of this episode 1 of season 2. There were at least 5 arcs that were incomplete. Like they're just incomplete because they're expecting that you're going to watch 12 episodes of Fuller House.
Interesting.
It's going to be one. It's almost like a Fuller House movie.
Right, like they're expecting you to binge watch.
Yeah, totally. So I'm like, we watched one episode, and I'm like, what? Nothing got resolved. Right at the end, Carol Brady would be talking to her kids, saying, "This is what happened, and Marcia, you booched it. You got a black nose from a football, and that's it, right?"
Yeah, exactly.
So you learned your lesson.
Right. Well, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, but that would be the end of the episode. That's not what happened here. So it's interesting that
you don't take the cursed totem, Greg.
Say again?
So you don't take the cursed totem when you're in Hawaii, Greg.
No, it was a tiki.
It was a tiki. That's right.
That's right. Dumb Greg. Take the tiki. I think it's actually Bobby and Peter that pick up the tiki.
Yeah.
And Greg actually gets in trouble because he goes surfing with the tiki around his neck and takes a digger.
Geek test. You passed.
Yeah, and I think that's actually the end. It's a part 1 of a part 2, right? Like, oh my lord, Greg is dead.
Yeah, I happen to remember that one.
Wanted to know this.
Yes.
Parenting mistakes at hotmail.com.
Okay, cool. And your parent mistakes or parenting mistakes on Twitter.
Parenting mistakes at hotmail.com.
But on Twitter, what are you on Twitter?
Oh, the Twitter's, it's parent mistakes at the Twitter.
Cool. I assume that parenting mistakes was already taken on Twitter.
Parent mistakes is not.
Yeah. That wasn't my question. Oh, I think you said parenting mistakes is too long.
Parenting mistakes is too long. So is johnmalkovich.com.
No, it's not too long.
We tried to get it.
We tried to get it. Squarespace. That's what we use for the Uberviewshow.com site.
Great commercials. I just love those. I don't know why I do.
Oh, yeah. It was terrible. A lot of the other ones were terrible. But anyway, we're not here to talk about the Super Bowl.
Hey, can I touch your Roo? No. Get away from me.
You can find me on Twitter at Voice of the Big JB. And we have links to all of our social media pipes on Uberviewshow.com. And Umphy on Twitter is at UmphyOW.
Oh, Brandon, you need to come back. We are desperate without you, dude.
We need your strats, yo.
Yep. Well, we need you. I don't need the strats. I just need him in general.
How badly do you need him, Dave?
Well, he could come over and put my hand on his mouth.
I set you up for that one. That's exactly what I hoped you would say. I was like, all right.
Mouse hand situation. Although it would reverse on that because he'd be guiding my hand.
If I pitch a little softball, is Dave going to hit it? And yes, I'm not disappointed. Right into
the Buddha bash right there.
Yep. You got it. Oh, I like this, Creed.
But don't worry, I can skate out of it.
Creed says next year's Super Bowl Uberview spot for Squarespace. Heck yes.
Oh yes, please.
If we had the $1 million to spend on Super Bowl advertising.
Hey Bentley, if we make that much money, we're done with the Uberview show.
No way, man. We'll do that and all the other shows and things that we dream of all at the same time.
Right, and then we'll purchase Disneyland.
And then turn it into Disneyland.
Disneyland.
I'm not sure that's going to go up for sale anytime soon.
Dude, we could totally. All right, let's vision. Okay. More theory casting. We could actually make a whole new Blizzard park, right? Like a whole new wing.
There you go.
With Blizzard rides. All right, that was lame, but
well. No. I'm with you. We could license. We could license it and make our own. We could make Disneyland.
Correct. Well, after we purchase Disneyland.
Yeah, well, and we would need probably a little bit more than $1 million to do that.
Oh, you know what I found out this week? It's worth $50 billion.
For Disneyland?
50, yeah. You could purchase Disneyland for $50 billion.
All right, set up the GoFundMe.
Uberview Pirates of Patreon.
That's right.
Okay, we're long in the tooth.
Yes, indeed we are. And don't forget, guys, rate the show. Give us some feedback on iTunes. Is the best place to do that. We will read your review out loud. We covet your feedback. I think that's it. Brandon, come back. We need you. Get better. And to everybody else out there, have a great night. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye. And recording stopped.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let's see if it worked. So I can't open recording. Don't give me that crap. Off.
All right. Let's
Skype.
Open the folder where this recording is. Oh. Yearn for the feedback. Sounds less sinful, Jeff says in the chat.
Okay, I've got about 31 megabytes.
I don't know what I have. Let me go.
Well, if you have 31 megabytes, you've got the same thing I've got.
Okay, so let me go to my...
So go to that folder icon on the MP3 Skype recorder 4.24.
Yeah. Mine is 36 and change.
Awesome. We did the same thing.
We did do the same thing.
You've got it. You don't need me. Or she could email me if you want the better recording.
Oh.
It's the same recording.
I know. See what you did there. Good show this week, man.
Yep. Let's see here. Are we still in
We're still
Uberview time?
still streaming, but we're gonna turn it off. Bye, chat room. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. You guys are the best, and I mean that seriously. Even though I did a goofy thing, you guys rock. Bye, fans. Uber fans. Bye.
Oh, that's a good point. We'd have to buy a Blizzard as well.